Liverpool to Portsmouth, yeah, that chorus got the crowd screaming.
Alright, so what you're looking at here is we've got the SMD meter ran into the speaker wires. We're going to do a dyno, which is going to show us the most power that we're getting at any given point. I'm going to run this directly to a VFL Stealth 4500 watts. Yeah, that's what they say. Anyways, easily pulls 1500 plus RMS, but I think what Memphis is doing here is box rise tricks to where they're tuning the box in a way that you can never really get the power from your amplifier without using just a ridiculously large amplifier. So far 600 watts is the test that I'm seeing. So let's I'm going to do frequency test. That usually gives the fastest response. So let's see what we got here, guys. Let me turn the power supply on. And there we go. Are we starting to see power? Yep. Okay. I'll make sure you guys are able to see that in the camera. Zoom in there for a bit. Alright. Fortunately, the way I'm set up, you can't see the subs at the same time, so I'll zoom it back at some point, but let's see what we start getting. One thing you're going to notice in this video is the port noise is horrible in these boxes. It's actually port noise you're hearing in the background. Alright, 36 hertz, 606 watts. I'm going to jump it up a bit, then we'll go down. Actually, let's go down first. Let's go to 32. I'll clear that. And 589 watts RMS, so we need to go up since we've lost. Let's go, we'll go 2 frequencies at a time, so we're going to start at 38. Alright, 556 watts. We're going to go 42, and then we're going to play with gains on the amplifier. See if we can make any more room since we're not clipping yet. One thing I noticed the pattern is it seems like it's just going to be really hard to get over 600 watts, but we'll see what we can't do on the gain there. Alright, 36 hertz shows us the highest possible so far. Oops, let me hit clear instead. We're going to turn this down all the way. As far as it'll go, and then I'm going to grab a screwdriver and we're going to start adjusting this amp upwards till we see a clip light. Well, bear with me. Screwdriver hunting. It's always a fun thing to do. Controls we got over there are straight. Alright. Alright. You guys can't see, well, you can't see my password anyways, it's zoomed in. Alright. Let me get to this gain. Easily clipping right there, but let's go ahead and leave it right there, and that way I can turn it down at the bass knob. Alright, so we're up to 654 watts. Again, I think you're starting to see the trick that they're using here is box rise. go. We're in protect from clipping. 785 watts. That's the most we've seen. And wait for it. I'll turn the power supply back on. Let everything reset. All right. So a really hard clip, right around 700 and something watts. Yeah, you can check out other videos of this amp being tested that I'm using. You know, easily 1800 watts, but 1500 plus on a bad day. So we're going to start reaching the limit of these woofers. So I'm going to go up in frequency and try a different way of approaching this. To 849 watts. 52 hertz. Let's go 58. It did not like that at all. Yeah. That actually feeds back into my power supply. So what you can't see here is a subs clip, and that's what's creating this reset. Let's try this one more time. I'm gonna bump up to 60 hertz. I think it's getting more touchy. Yes, extremely touchy. All right, so let's zoom back out. Hopefully you guys can see this. You can actually see this is a woofer right here by my hand. So I don't know if I can get this to where you can see a woofer too. There you go. All right, and I'll try to zoom in some so you can see both. All right, so obviously it's not liking the higher frequencies. It's clipping way too easy. So let's go down to, let's try 54. Clear our results. Clipping right around the 750 mark every time. It seems to, no matter what frequency, no matter what happens, that tends to be the cutoff point. And then you see a nice little burst of power right at the clip point. That's normal. That usually happens right before the sub blows too. With that said, absolutely no smell coming from the woofer. So the voice coils are handling it. The woofers ain't even remotely cool. So, or I'm sorry, the woofers ain't even remotely hot. So we're doing good there. I'm gonna try one more test. We're gonna go down in frequency. Let's try just a flat 48. You'll notice a lot of what you're hearing is the box. These are just cheap boxes that they're doing. I highly recommend you buy the woofers separately and build your own box. Alright guys, I'm not going to go clipping it no harder than that. There's no reason to keep blowing these woofers to prove my point. Alright. Kiln power supply, let's have a talk about this. If you've seen some of my videos, you'll know sometimes I just zoom back and I have a conversation with you guys. You're a new generation coming up, and the pattern that I'm seeing as a business owner is disturbing, to say the least. First, we have a company that comes out of nowhere called Rockville, and they're making all these claims, and everybody's like, it seems a little strange, because their claims were just, wow, you know, it's a lot more power than what we typically get for that price. And the Exo Controlos and these other people out there are loving the product, but then they start really putting it to the test. Hey, does this stuff hold its claims? Is it lying to us? And I think if you watch their videos, I mean, I'm not going to speak for them, but I think they're pretty to the point that, yeah, these companies are doing some strange stuff. Memphis seems to be going that route. First, we got, let's see if I got one down here. I do not, but I sell their high-end products, you know, their Vivs, and, you know, obviously I've been a dealer a long, long time to have a neon sign. They don't even make anymore. So I feel like they're going the power acoustic route, the Rockville route of saying, hey, we hold this, and reality is when you put it to the test, and you'll see some of the other clips I'm putting in this video, they don't hold it. They don't nowhere near it. These 6.5s, if they were rated for 350 watts RMS, 700 peak, don't call it a Mojo, call it an M6, M3, whatever you want to. They'd be a beautiful woofer. It's a good sounding woofer for that price range. The one thing I don't agree with is these prefab enclosures, which I'll show you some clips of the other ones I've got. I've got every one they offer, and every one of them fails every test I throw at it. The port noise, God, Memphis, clear it. One thing whenever you're looking at Aerostyle ports is, sorry, I was looking for a different style port, but yeah, we'll use this cheap one for example. Notice how it's flared on both ends. That's the downfall of these boxes, is they've only got the flare on the outside, and you actually hear the port noise coming off the end of the port on the inside, and it makes for a terrible sound. I don't care what type of music you listen to. If this box is moving air, you hear it, and I mean typically over the sub volume. So it's very irritating. I don't know who approved these boxes. From the phone calls I've never gotten, I would say I think I know who approved it. This team that does the testing, I believe they said they were in Arizona. Everything's sent there, they get the okay for it, and then they basically give the product a thumbs up for Memphis to go ahead and produce it. And it's sad. It's a sad day to see a company like Memphis Car Audio doing these tricks when they've been at the top many times over the years and have produced such a valid and professional product. And I'm just disturbed to see them rating these little woofers for 700 watts RMS. They're just not even on a good day do they hold 500 watts RMS. They might hit peaks of 500 watts RMS, and I don't know where this whole rating, Rockville does come to mind, and I'm not knocking Rockville, but they are starting this ideal that a peak RMS, that's not a thing. Like RMS, root meet square, what do I make 24/7 without any issues? And they literally got 3 different ratings. They've got, and I understand why they're doing it, but it's bad. Just do it the honest way. They've got a CEA rating, which is, even to us, is garbage, but it's better than nothing. It's a good rule of thumb that can be cheated a little bit, but it does keep a lot of them in check. Then you have what they're using, they call it like, I'm not really sure what other than peak RMS they're calling this, because it's, well, if you're comparing it to Power Acoustic and Soundstream and this company, then you'll want to use this rating. If you're comparing it to Kicker and Rockford and these companies, you'll want to use this rating. And I'm like, just tell us your rating. Like, you don't have to lie, or you don't have to be, I would call them more evasive about it. Long story short, the Memphis Mojo 6.5s and 8s. While I'm more impressed with the 8s do come a lot closer to holding their power handling. I think if they were rated, I would say 6 to 750 RMS, 750 pushing it, but let's say it was rated for 700 RMS. I would feel comfortable with the 8 being rated. I would feel comfortable with the 8 being rated at that. The 6.5, you guys are gonna have to cut it in half. I am not making this video to knock you. You guys didn't respond to me. You put me on hold, and it's almost a year later. I'm just now putting this video out because I've been waiting for phone calls back, and they said, well, you can burn up a woofer if you want to, and I said, that's not what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to help you guys find whoever decided this rating was okay and get it corrected, because the downside to this is this: if I sell this woofer to a consumer and it's rated 700 watts RMS, I have no leg to stand on if he goes out there and burns it up with 700 watts RMS. I got to take it back. I try to teach my customers. I really want them to be a better customer. And Memphis, you're not helping. You're really hurting us by playing this game. And whoever is on your sales team or your team that is allowing this to go through, you may want to reconsider or rebrand your product line, because I now have a SC 2000.1 amplifier, 2000.1, that's the model number, Street Edge 2000.1, that does 500 watts RMS. And I see what you're doing here, and I don't like it. I don't like where this Rockville situation's gotten out of control. We know for years that Power Acoustic and Soundstream and Boss, and like, we know these garbage brands, and I know that it's hard to fight them because best-selling amp on Amazon is a Boss amplifier that lies to the consumer. And rather than do this, why don't you go lobby some and say, hey, we need stricter rules on these ratings, because these Chinese companies are importing stuff and they're not being honest about what is really happening. And I said that wrong. It's not Chinese companies importing, it's American companies that are importing Chinese product, and then they lie on it, but they've got a test sheet that some company has handed them from overseas that says, all right, this protects us because we know we're lying, but this paper protects us. And that's just bad business. You really need to go upwards and maybe tighten up a CEA rating, and for one, make it a requirement. I am so tired of, well, this company doesn't use it and that company doesn't use it, and they're finding ways to get an amplifier just to peak enough numbers. They send it to a popular YouTuber that tests it, and you're like, yeah, that's the amplifier I want, and then they just start cutting corners left and right. All you gotta do is produce 10 of them, ship a few out, everybody sees the numbers, and then start making them cheaper. So Memphis, until you get this one fixed, it's just another brutal review to me. Failed. You guys failed bad. Thanks, guys.